Stewart Ijames was only with the Hops for about 10 days, but did he ever leave his mark? He joined the Diamondbacks organization in the summer of 2014 out of the Independent Frontier League. And then after a stay in Missoula, joined the Hops for the last, maybe 10 days of the season, including the playoffs. Played in just 2 regular season games, but then once the postseason hit, the Hops' first ever postseason, he had clutch hit after clutch hit. As a matter of fact, he drove home a run in every postseason game the Hops played that year. And he joins us via phone from his home in Owensboro, Kentucky. And first of all, Stewart, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Just trying to spend quarantine time wisely. It's a lot of good weather here in Owensboro right now. Today's in the 70s, so spent the majority of the early afternoon outside, working out, getting the sweat in.
Oh, good. Yeah, and I know at 31 you're trying to keep your career going, and we'll get back into that in a second. But the last time I saw you was about 5.5 years ago. Princeton Champaign in the Hops locker room after they won their first of what is now 3 Northwest League championships. But you were instrumental in the Hops winning game number 9 of our top 10 games in Hillsboro Hops history, the opening game of the 2014 Northwest League Championship Series, a 7-5 win in Vancouver. And back in 2014, Vancouver was the top dog in the Northwest League. They had won 3 consecutive Northwest League championships, and
wow,
that year they were trying to win a 4th in a row, which would tie the Northwest League record. They have great crowds up there. They're rowdy. They know their baseball. Do you remember anything about the atmosphere in that game north of the border?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was loud the entire time. Especially, they jumped up on us pretty quickly there. And, when a home team has the momentum early and the home crowd is sitting in the stands and it's early and they see their team producing runs, it makes it a lot easier to stay loud and be in tune to the game. And I just remember feeling early on in the game like, oh crap, man, we got to do something to turn this around, because it can go downhill fast when all the momentum's on the home team side.
Yeah, it was 5-0 after 2 innings, and you were, as I mentioned, relatively new to the team. I, having watched them all season long, it was the first 2 innings were the worst I remembered seeing them play all season long. I thought, where's this come from? Is it nerves from being in the postseason, or was it just kind of a series of things that would have happened anyway? Were there nerves involved in those first 2 innings?
There has to be. I mean, going into it that this each game means something, and each out means something. Each pitch that you win at an at bat means something. So it's your awareness is heightened, and traveling on the road. I knew that they were the defending champs. I did not know that they had won 3 years in a row, which hats off to them for that. So you knew that they were going to be comfortable in that atmosphere, or more prepared for some returning players. And we had a bunch of young guys, and we had some returning players too. But you said it was the first postseason of our of Hillsboro's run, and for sure there was always nerves involved whenever big games come. I call it big game tummy, where you get the butterflies and you're all nervous and everything. So of course there was.
And that's a big reason why players play, to be in that situation and to feel those things. And at the time, the Northwest League Championship Series was a best of 3. It's now a best of 5. So to lose that game would put you 1 game away from Vancouver winning the title. They were ahead 5-0 after 2 innings. And then in the top of the 3rd, Nate Robertson had an RBI triple and Taylor Ratliff had an RBI single. And then you come up and truly one of the biggest home runs in Hops history, a 2-run shot to right field that cut the deficit to 5-4, and really put the fans. They sat back down and kind of
Yep.
They're back on their heels a little bit. What do you remember about that at bat?
It was a lot of my style of play is head down, stay focused. I play with a chip on my shoulder. I play hard, and to me, I knew that the situation was big, but to me, it was the third inning. There's still a lot of game left, so it wasn't a fully personal pressure-packed situation. It was just an AB where I just locked it in. I was able to get myself into a great fastball count, 3-1, and was just ready for a fastball, and he threw it, and I just tried to get a great swing off, and I found a lot of barrel and was able to turn on it and hit it over right field fence. One of my very memorable home runs off that season, and it was just a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was some at bat, and not a lot of home runs that I remember go out to right field at Nat Bailey Stadium in Vancouver. So it was a shot to get out of there. You also hit a home run in Boise in Game 1 of the Division Series a few days beforehand, and I seem to remember that one being a really long one. Do I have that accurate?
Yeah, that one was first pitch. I'll never forget that one either. But that was a first pitch fastball. Later in the game, and I was just sitting dead red heater again, threw it. I got my good swing off and was able to really turn on that one again too. So, that's things what I like to do. I like to try to yank fastballs over right field fence, and I sometimes have gotten lucky over my career doing so. And that was a good one. That was the one that kind of brought the entire dugout to their feet, and everybody, including myself, was able to enjoy the distance on it.
Yeah, I do remember that being a long home run. In Vancouver, in Game 1, when you hit that home run. Now, I believe the only game you ever played in that ballpark, and their fans are, as I mentioned, rowdy. They're creative. Had they said anything to you that you remember from your position out in right field? Had they said anything to you before the home run, and did they say anything afterward?
There were some fans down right field line. I do remember that, and it just friendly crowd noise, chattering. You're gonna lose. Over at blah blah blah. Just nice friendly fan interactions, which you get used to over playing this game for many years. And I may have had somebody say something afterwards, but it kind of got pretty quiet towards right field when I started jogging out after that, and especially after our home run to take the lead by Stryker. It was just kind of started to get a little bit quieter in that place, and that's when the momentum has turned, and their dugout's sitting a little bit lower, and fans are starting to mold into their seats a little bit more. There's nothing to really cheer about at that point, so it's just it just overall took the momentum and just swung it our way. And in playoff baseball, that's all you really need to push on through for a win.
Yep. From going off on a tangent here, and I'm thinking about interactions with fans and things outfielders here, and you and your 8 or 9 year professional career. Anything jump out at you? Any team you've been on, any ballpark you've been on, as something funny that happened, an interaction between you and a fan, or a fan and another player, something funny you've heard out of the stands or seen, or anything like that?
Oh yeah, I still have nightmares about this one sometimes, actually. And it wasn't in professional baseball; it was in college. I was a freshman at the University of Louisville. We had made an advance into a regional, and we were playing in Athens, Georgia, against Georgia. Game 1 against Georgia, and national anthem happens. They introduce the lineups, and I'm running out to right field now to start the game. And in right field, there's a big, huge hill, and at the top of the hill is Greek Row. So all the all the fraternity houses and stuff are at the top of that hill. And I remember specifically running out to right field, looking up at the guys and everybody that was standing up on top of the hill, and about 10 of them all pulled out their laptops, opened them up, and I was like, I'm confused at first, obviously, right? But then all of a sudden, I hear them starting to read off my bio from my Facebook, and they're just, just going to town on me about things that I've wrote, talking mad trash about my family because my family's obviously on my Facebook. And I just remember being completely freaked out for the first 2 innings, like, holy cow, I don't know how to handle this. This is completely new atmosphere for me. I've never dealt with something like that. So yeah, I'll never forget that one.
Did you hit one up into Greek Road to serve them right?
I had a great game that game. I was 4 for 4. I hit a home run. We ended up losing the game. But me personally, I had a great game. And, but even in that kind of an atmosphere, it doesn't matter if I'd have gone 6 for 6 with 6 home runs and 20 RBIs. They were still going to light into me when I got out there. So it was, it didn't matter in that kind of a place.
Yeah, and I imagine probably not fun at the time, but looking back on it, that is hilarious. Great story. 2 innings after your home run in Vancouver, as you mentioned, striker Trahan came up and he hit an almost identical home run to yours, although I think yours may have been a tad longer. And that made it 6-5. The Hops would go on to win 7-5. And from a fans and broadcasters perspective, it's hard to describe the enormity of that kind of a win in the hostile atmosphere. You stunning the 3-time defending champions in their home park. But as you're walking off the field that day, how did it feel from a player's perspective?
Anytime you get the first win of a series, it's a very big feeling. We knew that we had a great chance because we took the one on the road to where we can now come home and win. And you always want to win at home. So especially to raise the trophy at home is even better. And it was just a great bus ride home. Everybody was in high spirits. Even though going through customs over the border, everybody was all happy, and it was awesome. It was a very, very good experience.
Let's take a look at your career. You were signed by the Diamondbacks out of the Independent Frontier League. What did that mean to you at the time to get a shot in affiliated baseball?
Well, I have actually been, prior to that, I had been drafted twice.
Right, I saw that out of high school and then by the Yankees out of Louisville, right?
Yes, sir. And it never felt right. I'll never forget getting the call in Washington, Pennsylvania by the Diamondback system telling me that they were going to take me. And I mean, just immediate tears. I held it off until I got off the phone and just immediately just started crying. My first phone call was to my mother. And I all I said to my mom was, "Mom, I did it. It's happened." And just me and her both just sat there. I'm starting to get emotional already thinking about it. So am I. Yeah, it was a very, very awesome experience.
Yeah, well, I bet it was. And you ended up staying in the Diamondbacks organization for 4 years. And you're always a guy that I rooted for, not just because of your heroics with the Hops, but because you were such an engaging personality, such a down-to-earth guy, a guy who'd come out of independent league. And you even hit at least one home run in the major league uniform. I remember, I think it was 2017 in spring training,
Mm-hmm.
You went deep in a Diamondbacks uniform. What was that like?
That was actually my second one of that year. I had an opportunity of playing with the big league club against the Rockies prior to that, and it was on a backfield, I guess a scrimmage game. But to me, I was playing with the big league team, and it counted. I hit a home run,
Right.
But, yeah, that game was against the Netherlands. They were getting ready for the WBC. Later in the innings, and I think we had beaten them pretty good at that point. And yeah, it was a left-handed fastball coming from a lefty, and again, just a good swing. And I think that was one of the more faster trots around the bases that I've had in my career. Full of excitement. So yeah, it was a great memory. I have that video saved on my phone, and it's just one of those things that I'll probably show my kids one day and relive it as much as I can.
Yeah, you talked about calling your family after you got the shot in affiliated baseball. I would imagine that was another moment that you enjoyed sharing with them.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah. as of last year, you were still playing independent baseball, and you told me before we started recording this interview that even at age 31 this year, prior to the pandemic, your plan is to continue to play at the very least independent professional baseball, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, the window and the doors just keep opening for me to keep playing. And once you take the jersey off and don't put the spikes on, you're done, and the dream's over when you do that. And I just keep giving myself a chance, I guess. And I've tried to find other lanes of opportunity outside of baseball or inside of baseball, just not playing. But the competition and the competitive drive that just keeps calling me back to the game, and I love hitting. There's been nothing more in my life that I've ever loved more doing than hitting a baseball. And as long as that's the goal and that's the passion, and I can show up every day and do early work and enjoy it, and it never feels like work, and I might just keep doing it. And as long as I have a uniform on, I feel like I have a shot of making it to the major leagues. And even if that's not the case anymore, I'm just enjoying playing every single day. It's just a lot of fun.
There's something about that battle between the hitter and the pitcher, and trying to figure out what he's going to do next and how you're going to respond. It's hard to get away from that, isn't it?
It really is. I'm a very competitive person by nature, almost too much. I get told all the time that like, hey Stu, all we're doing is we're bowling. You don't have to bowl a strike every time. But it's just me. That's just the way I am. And being a hitter, I get to compete 4 times, 5 times a day, and see 20 pitches in a day, and that's 20 times I get to compete, and inning after inning. And it's my nature to want to be competitive, and it's just something that I can't get away from. So I just keep going back to it. Exactly like you said, though, the cat and mouse game between pitcher and hitter is just it's a mental grind, pitch to pitch and game to game, day to day. And I just love it. I always have.
It's the essence of baseball, and only people, I think, who really pay close attention to it understand what's happening there, and what the pitcher's trying to do, and where the catcher's setting up, and what pitch might be coming in, and maybe he gets you out on the pitch that he didn't even intend. Maybe he's intended the pitch down and away, and he jams you up and in, and that's not even where the catcher was setting up. Have you ever been accused by a catcher of peeking at his location to see where he was setting up, to know, even if you weren't doing it? Have you ever been accused of such a thing?
Not necessarily peeking, but in my kind of my routine, as I get in the batter's box, I tap the plate, and I call it like a little Mark McGwire wiggle. Most people remember what he used to do at the plate. He had a little back and forth wiggle with his barrel. And I hold mine nice and low, and I've had catchers say, like, hey, can you, like, move your barrel so my pitcher can see the signs? So that's the only thing that I've ever gotten. Obviously, as a part of baseball, trying to steal signs from second base from the catcher or the pitcher, that's part of the game, stuff like that. But no, never trying to peek back. And that's to me, that's kind of a disrespect to the game. So I don't do anything like that.
Sure. You mentioned your love for this game. When your playing career is over, do you see yourself staying in it in some capacity, maybe as a coach or manager?
I just walk through the doors that I feel like God's opening for me. And if that's the avenue and the lane that he continues to show me and continues to open for me, then I will. I in the off season, as many professional baseball players do, they give lessons, and I give lessons during the off season. So I really, really thoroughly enjoy that, to see the progression of a child and a kid go from, decent hitter to a great hitter, or somebody who's never hit a baseball in their life or softball. And then by the time they're ending with me, before I leave, they make the All-Star team that year. So there's a lot of passion behind it. I've spent many, many, many hours perfecting my craft, and still trying to perfect my craft of hitting. So I've looked at numerous videos, studied numerous mechanics. I follow so many guys on Instagram that talk about hitting, and it's always going to be there. Yeah, I think even if I do coach, I think if I end up coaching, and there's a good chance that'll probably happen. I do enjoy teaching, but I think that even if I do that, I'll be 60 years old and have practice at 4:00 in the afternoon, and I'll show up at 3 and hit balls off the tee just because I want to. So I could see myself doing something like that very easily. Yes, sir.
Yeah, we'll keep in touch with people in the Diamondbacks organization. You never know.
You never know. That's very true.
How many championships have you won in your career?
Professionally, just that one. But in college, I was a part of a lot of winning teams. I've got 4 rings from college, from Big East championships to Big East regular season championships, regional championships, and so I've tasted a lot of success over the years. But there's something about professional baseball when you clinch or when you win, and the champagne showers, and everybody's going crazy in the locker room afterwards. That's the dream, man. That's the absolute dream, is absolutely just unleashing on a locker room with everything you possibly can, and having a great time, and just enjoying what you had done up to that point. And that's what I live for, and that's the goal. When you put on the cleats every day, is to try to figure out a way to win enough games to get in the playoffs, and then try to win the playoffs just for the champagne showers and the toasts and everything in the locker room afterwards. And there's no better feeling than doing stuff like that.
Yep, and that was a fantastic celebration back in 2014. Well, Stewart, your star burned briefly here in Hillsboro, but boy, did it burn brightly. Without you, the Hops probably don't have that first championship back in 2014. And those things kind of breed upon themselves. Who knows? Maybe if they don't win that one, they don't win the other 2 as well. It was brief, but you're a big part of the Hops history, and we really appreciate your time.
And I appreciate you very much. I still wear my championship shirt that I ordered offline from the website after the season was over. I still wear it regularly. I still wear it proudly. So I appreciate you guys very much for allowing me to be there and allowing me to be a part of that history.